Hello and welcome to part 3, getting to know your rig. It's really important to get to know the rig that you are using. Here I found a really great rig from Artella. It's free to use. And I think all I had to do was sign up for their email mailing list and they sent it to me. Please, if you decide to use him, make sure that you read the instructions, as there is a plugin that you need to apply in order for him to work properly. I love this rig because he's so easy to use. I also don't like this rig because he's so easy to use. I know that's kind of confusing, but let me explain. This rig is so versatile, and that its controls are meticulously created to make it easier for the animator. It's designed to make the animator faster and have a better workflow. But it can also make an animator complacent and lazy. No one wants a lazy animator. No one pays a lazy animator. So as we go over the functionality of the rig, I'll explain a little bit better. So here we go. Here is the global control. It has an option for low res or high res, and for some reason mine's not going high res. It's really just for preference on how you want to work. It doesn't matter. These are not actually subdivided when it changes to high res. So when you render, you're not going to want to use the default Maya rendering engine. You're probably going to want to use Mental Ray. Mental Ray should be able to do it on its own. But since mine is not doing it, I'll probably end up having to subdivide it on my own, which is not a big deal. Starting at the feet. Let's see, let's go down here. Let's look at the feet here. So the main control is this line here. We have it set to IK right now. So when you move it, it acts like an IK control, right? It's pretty simple. And then here, this control back here, you can turn on the FK or turn off the IK, however you want to say that, and you will see the FK controls show up, and you can use the FK that way. So let's go back, switch it back to IK. One. Alright. And then further down the foot, you see some other controls. This is just to help, give you some extra control over what the foot does. So here we rotate it up and down. It's pretty cool. We have some further up here, and this is helpful for getting some really goofy shapes in your foot if you really want to push that exaggeration to the limit, if it's a really cartoony kind of animation that you're doing. So these are for that. See? Okay. Then we have your regular pole vector knee joint. Here, as you can see, the knee will move with the control there. The cool thing about this is if you change it, right now it's on foot space, so it's following the foot. You can see the pole vector follow the foot. If you go back to it and you hit it body space, take it off foot space, it will follow the body instead of the foot. See? So that's pretty cool. But for now, I think I'm going to switch it back to following the foot. So, here we go. Okay. So we have our hips here, or not the hips, excuse me, the body. And it moves the whole thing. Then we have this thigh control here, which can help you get some better shapes should you need to use it that way. You can see it kind of moves it around like that. And here we have the hips, which move independently by themselves, which can help with some stretch on the torso, as you can see, should you need that. And then you can rotate them, get a little shimmy going on there. Dude, he's dancing. Alright. And then these are your regular, just like any other rig. It's pretty simple. This one allows you to move the geometry of the torso a little bit around. So like the same with the feet, if you want to get like a really dramatic, over exaggerated movement on the spine, you can use that control to do that. Here we have the elbow pull vectors, same as the knees. It's got that hand space and body space, same thing. Here we have our wrist, and there are some cool stuff in here. You've got some stretch you can play with. Maybe. There we go. It doesn't seem to show very much right here. You probably have to play around with it. Yeah. And then this control here, it's got these controls here. You can turn on and off the bendy limb, you know, so you can play with that. I don't know if you've seen, like, see, what's a good example of bendy limb? I'm thinking, I think Madagascar's got examples of bendy limbs, because like what's the name of that lion? Oh, I can't believe it. I've watched that movie a billion times. I don't remember the name of the lion. Anyway, the lion from Madagascar, when he gets mad and starts chasing around one of his friends, he's got a lot of squash and stretch and a lot of bendy limbs in him. So it's just for, you know, like cartoony stuff. If you want a more realistic one, you're probably not going to use the bendy limb because, you know, it's for more cartoony things. Volume control. I'm actually not sure what that one does. I'll have to play around with it too. Hand gestures are really fun to play with because you've got the neutral hand gesture, which just kind of makes it look relaxed. He's not so stiff, right? And then the fist just does that exact, ooh, that's weird. It does exactly what it says it makes fist. See, and most rigs that I've worked for so far do not have this kind of control. You would have to separate, you know, for the spread, you'd have to separate the fingers individually or make your fist individually, and it takes a while, you know, so these controls are really, really good, but you can see how it could make you lazy as an animator. You're like, oh, well, I'm just going to use the fist control, and then you get used to just using the fist control, and you almost forget how to create a fist without the fist control. So if you get your hands on a rig and there's no fist control, and you're like, oh man, how do I get this to look right? Because I'm so used to using fist control. That's kind of what I mean, how it can make you complacent and lazy. So, but for all intents and purposes, this is such a cool rig. So let's move on. Here we have the shoulder control. That's pretty self-explanatory, you know. Shoulder control to get some shrugging and the other shenanigans that, you know, shoulders are up to. Let's see. Here we have the head control. You can see we have eye control is off right now. You turn it on, the eye control pops in, and you can control his eyes. It's just to keep it like less cluttered for the sake of, well, I'm not working on the eyes right now, so I really don't need the control to be there. So you can turn that on and off. Here's the face user interface. It's really cool because you can just click on a part of the face and you get all the mouth shapes. And here's another example of this rig being super awesome because you can select both of these for the left sh shape and the right sh shape and move them at the same time. See? Or you can move them independently of each other and get, you know, half of the mouth to do that. See, now he's got kind of like a snarl. That's kind of cool, right? But in, like I said, in most rigs that I've used before, I would have to come in here and shape it like that, you know. And then that's good to know, obviously, because you want to do that because you want to be able to make shapes that are independent of the sliders that you have over here on the face UI. Because again, the same reason is, well, if I can't make a shish shape on my own, then if I don't have a shish shape slider like this one, then what am I going to do? So that's what I mean about learning. You've got to learn how to make these shapes manually using your facial controls here. So, and this is moving the whole mouth up and down this one. Let's see, we've got the cheek movements here. So, looks kind of weird, but the nose. These are cool here. Moves the nose up and down. I don't know if you've noticed that when somebody talks, sometimes the corners of their nose will move a little bit, and those little things in a person's face is what brings the dialogue and the facial expression to life like that so much. Is these little things when someone talks, and their cheeks move, especially when they smile. The cheek will go up like that, you see, and then you get your smile up here like that. You get a nice big smile, right? Or a half a smile anyway. So, and then you have all of your manual eyebrow controls, but all that stuff you can find on your Face UI. See, it's so cool, isn't it? Oops, I moved it. I don't want to move it. There we go. Yeah, see, look, in your eyes, you have your eyebrow controls. Let's see. And you can turn on a mustache. Where is this mustache? There it is. He has a mustache. Oops, that's not what I want to do. Grab his head control. Turn on his mustache. Well, isn't he a handsome fellow? Alright. Let's see. And we have controls for the hair. If, you ever want it to blow in the wind or whatever. We got controls for the hair. And this control up here. This control up here controls the squash and stretch of the head. Which again is really good. Of course, squash and stretch being one of the major principles of animation and really important in animation. This tool is going to get a workout, especially if he's like surprised. He gets surprised. Oh no, like he screams. Ah, we'll maybe play with that a little later. So here we have a neck control. Just, pretty self-explanatory. Well, that's not the neck control, just kidding. That's the jaw. That's the jaw. Got a little mixed up there. Here's the neck control. There we go. There's the neck. Okay, so I think we pretty well covered that one. As you can see, that little Face UI. Oh, that's right. The Face UI can move along with the head or the body, depending on what you want. Body space, head space. Again, just choose it to however you want it to move along. What you want it to move along with, the head or the body. So, as you can see, it's pretty cool little rig. The next part will be starting to do the lip sync animation. Some animators will wait until the body blocking is done, but I prefer to do the lips first, just because that way you don't have to follow along the body animation, because I don't think that there is a camera. I don't know. You know what? I could check. Let's see. Cameras. View. Select camera. Yeah, see, there are no other cameras in here. So some rigs will have a camera that is parented to the face, so all you see is the face. So you can look through that camera as you animate, or as your animation plays, and all you see is the face from a head-on view. So it makes that easier to be able to do the facial expressions after you're blocking. But this case, we don't have it. So I'm going to do at least the lip syncing, maybe not the rest of the facial expressions, but at least the lip syncing before I start doing the body blocking. So that's what we'll do. And the next one, we'll go over creating the lip syncing for this animation. So stay tuned. Thanks.